Drag Race Mexico Latina Royale just had probably the most low-key girl group I think of all time. Hi, hello everyone, my name is Jer, and sometimes our inside thoughts can stay up here. My load is lightening up with Canada's Drag Race wrapping this week. Load! So we are back with weekly rankings. If this is your first series with me, I typically rank every single queen from bottom to top placement in my personal opinion based on a cumulative score. That scorecard with all the results is available for free on my Patreon, links are below. This week the queens are tasked with some subpar quality girl group songs, which is not their fault, but it's still disappointing all the same. I want Papa Fate, I want Bing Bang Bong, I want Tongue Pop. I just want Drag Race to give some high quality content when it comes to girl groups with a fabulous chorus and hook. I want it to mean something, I want it to tell us something. I'm not asking for the world here. And this girl group was very abridged. Whoever was involved in this said no chorus budget, minimal instrumentals, blend both groups together, and don't think I forgot. The tension was a little high at the top of this week because the international queens are realizing that the deck is not stacked in their favor. So far, only the Mexican queens have badges and all the other countries represented do not. And that leaves the international queens clocking in to try and get a badge and take it away from Team Mexico. However, there weren't any substantial alliance conversations happening this week between the international queens, like what we saw last week in Down Under vs. the World, where the international queens were also realizing, oh, the deck is kind of in the favor of the house. So what can we do as a collective to try and get some control back here? I'm curious if or when this will ever become a more high stakes conversation because we just lost another international queen this week. We find out that Mariana's name was also chosen by Abby. Oh my god, because it was her second time in the bottom where it had only been Barbie's first. And I do wish that we could have seen Barbie Q in this week's girl group challenge because I think her verse would have been a knockout. The team captains for the girl groups this week are Regina Voce as the winner of last week's lip sync, and also Mariana Stars as the survivor of the bottom two. I'm all here for a consolation prize and hopefully comforting whoever was in the bottom last week, but I don't know, I'm kind of also here for rewarding someone who did equally well, and I would have liked to have seen what Team Abby would have looked like. Regina's team shakes out as Electra, Horacio, Matraca, and Abby, with Mariana's team featuring Alexis Mateo, who did not want to work with Mariana, Ava Blunt, Desiree Beck, and Tsunami Muse, who was last picked. That feels bad. And on the runway category is Tributo a mi madre, a tribute to my mom. I was hoping that someone was gonna come out as the nastiest weathered hag that ever happened, and I wanted them to just walk that runway scowling and in confessional say, I f***ing hate that. I was hoping for that in my heart. I wanted it. I do wonder if they were told to keep it light because it seemed like a couple of them maybe wanted to do something a little less joyful. So let's get into my positions. In number 10, I have Desiree Beck. I think she looked gorgeous in the group, but beauty means literally nothing if you don't know the words that you wrote yourself about who you are. Like, mama, did you not write these? And then that crunchy Melinda Verga death drop. Please. On the runway, I don't think she likes her mama that much because this gown is a bit uggo. She said her dress is covered in daisies because her mom loves daisies. I love that for her. I don't like the cut. I don't think it's very flattering. It's not eye-pleasing. And then the killer. This bitch ate on the runway. Like face planted like that girl in Totoro. I thought maybe it was something intentional. I thought there was gonna be a story moment happening like a Lady Camden where she falls and then gets back up and something changes. I thought that was gonna be what we were gonna experience, and then she just stayed there. Like, medics, please just take me off the stage. Just drag my body off of here. She got up, she put the crown back on, she looked devastated, like she wanted to die, and I felt so bad. Oh, I felt bad. I have never felt that bad watching Drag Race. I've never wanted to just hug someone and be like, it's okay. It's fine. If I fell on Drag Race like that, I'd just wait to die. I'd just let the medics take me off stage. I wouldn't move. I'd pull an Ivory Glaze and I'd be like, oh no. I would have pulled a stunt. There would have been an entire production. In my 9th position is Regina Voce. I think she sounded amazing as I expected her to, but the look was very out of place, and then her dancing, horrendous. This look is a bit huge and cumbersome, I think, for a girl group, and I love that Miss Mama was plucked and gagged that she was bottom 3. Like, how? There's no way. Some of us don't have self-awareness, and that's fine. On the runway, she looks very pretty, very demure, very mindful. I think the style lines on this beige are eye-catching. I like the gold gems that are popping on the black. This is a very pretty hairstyle for her. And I love how sweetly she talks about her mother. She very clearly has great reverence for this woman, and I appreciate seeing that play out on the runway. The look is very red carpet, big slay. In my 8th position is Mariana Stars, and the last couple weeks, I've been living for Mariana. I've disagreed with her bottom placements, but this week, completely understood her being bottom 3. It was deserved. In the girl group, she had this Lady Morgana looking wig. What in the art of wigs was that? She did reference her talent show song, It Tastes Like Coconut and Cinnamon. Miss Venezuela has arrived. Her energy was great, but that look was boot nasty. And she was kind of just doing her own thing the whole time. Like, she knew that she had to stand out this week, so she tried going overboard, and it just didn't play in her favor. On the runway, she looks beautiful and soft. It looks like those toilet paper covers that a lot of Latina moms and grandmas have, where you put that ugly doll on top of your toilet paper so it doesn't look like it's there, even though everybody poops and uses toilet paper. It's not some secret that needs to be hidden. And the dress is huge. It needed to be nipped in a bit at the waist, needed to lose some flowers there, maybe belt it. I also think the color curation looks tacky. I don't like this pearl pink with the magenta. It's a little bit of a chop. In my 7th position is Abby. Oh my god, she was the only international queen on Team Mexico. I enjoyed Abby in the challenge. I thought it was very funny to see her go up and do the classic slap take. She looked pretty, her lines were nice. She did solidly safe in the girl group. On the runway, she looks simple but beautiful. It's giving me a little Carmen Miranda. I love the separates. The garment overall looks clean and I like that. I just would have loved a bit of sparkle somewhere. Yes, it's a reference to her mom, and she probably didn't want to make her mom a drag queen, but also give me a little more oomph. Give me a little more pizzazz. Give me something to make me go, you know? It's a soft slay. In my 6th position is Horacio Potasio. She was hot in the challenge. Hot, I tell you. I have been living for this woman's beauty all season. She's the most gorgeous woman on earth, I swear. She looked great. She danced well. I liked what she was serving. I would have bought a second plate of it, and I would have loved a longer verse from her. On the runway, for me, I think she was doing a bit too much. I would have liked to have seen maybe one thing get the chop. The first dress is lovely. I like the shape of it. I love that there was a costume change. Multiple costume changes, actually. I like that there was a progression of a story, but there were too many props. There's a car wheel, there's a baby, there's a floppy chef hat, there's a stethoscope, there's stuff on the ground. There's just so much happening, and for what I think was a really cool performance and a great tribute and nod to her mom, I would have liked to have seen just a little bit cleaner of a focused story and maybe just removed two things. Maybe the stethoscope could have gone and the chef hat could have gone. But then also having her driving around with the baby in her lap. Isn't that what got Britney in trouble? It's a soft slay. In my 5th position is my diva and queen, Alexis Mateo. She opened the girl group amazingly. I think she set a great energy bar that nobody else was able to keep up with. And that's something that Alexis thrives in. She is a performer. And we were watching a pro. I loved her line. Savage, majestic, beautiful, always strong. And then a little later, I invented this game and they think they're divas? Period. She's OG. She really set up the game for what it is now. I really like this Lisa Frank print broken up with that thick fishnet. She looks stunning. And then on the runway, she looks very pretty. They showed a photo of her mom wearing nothing like what Alexis had on. And she later explains that earlier that year of filming, she had lost her mom and that this runway is a tribute to how her mom made her feel. I think it looks angelic, it looks soft, and I think that this tribute to her mom's spirit and energy was effective. That little kiss to the heavens I thought was sweet. I think what I'm missing is just a little bit of that sparkle. I want a little more excess. And I think for a heavenly look, a tribute to your mom who passed, I think it would be appropriate to have a bit of sparkle, a bit of sequin, couple rhinestones here and there. Just something to take it to the next level. In my 4th position is Tsunami Muse, who I think performed very well in the girl group. She had some solid lines. I loved the story that she told in there. I thought there was some good wordplay. And I think of everyone in this group, she was the most put together, which is funny because she was last picked. On the runway, I enjoyed her look. It's very salsa to me. I love the drag upscale of the original photo. The sleeves are gorgeous. The color of that electric yellow on that sparkly black. Ugh, divine. She looks like a queen of the party in the 80s, and I really liked this tribute to her mom. It's a solid recreation, but it is dragged up. In my third position is Ava Blunt. She looked so hot in that teal in the girl group, and she was a very fun time even if her part seemed short. I liked her lyrics, but I do wonder why everyone was in animal print and she was not. I'm assuming that they got prompts before they got there. Bring a red look and bring an animal print look, because everybody else in this group had an animal print look and everybody in the other group had red looks. And traditionally what we've been seeing in the Versus the World or global SmackDowns is that when it comes to the girl group time, they've got similar color palettes, like they were primed ahead of time. In Latina Royale, what was it? It was green and orange for one group and then purple and pink for the other, but it was in neons. And then we just saw in Canada's Drag Race, there was Team Blue and Team Red. So they very clearly were given color assignments for what the girl group was, and Ava just didn't have animal print. I don't know. And then on the runway, she's giving this dragged out version of a baton twirler. I love this tribute to her mom, and the reference photo they showed us is practically beat for beat on this one. This is just grander, and that's what I want to see. It's just so damn good. It came around the corner and I immediately could tell that it was a tribute to something because it looked meticulously constructed. I love the overstyled epaulets. This is great. I will say, I never got the chancla as a kid. I got the wooden spoon. In my second position is Matraca, who I think looked like a beautiful glow up of her original girl group. I love that she still carried that asymmetry into the costume. The ruffling of each one of those pieces were divine. I'm obsessed with the look. It's very mesmerizing. This is a great callback to her original girl group performance where they sounded like they were recorded in tin cans. So I'm glad that she actually got to slay this time in a proper girl group setting. I would have loved if her lines were just a little longer like I wish for everybody else. And on the runway, she's presenting a garment that looks nothing like her mom either. Rather, this is something that she collaborated with her mom to come up with something that was high drag, that was an homage to this beautiful woman who has a story to tell about her mental health and her struggles with that, but through pain comes beauty. She mentioned that the flowers are meant to show a progression of growth through struggle. She talked about the color choices that were picked out by her mom. This was all curated with her mom in mind. And so I really like that she was involved in this process. And two, when it comes to Latinos, we don't talk about mental health. So the fact that she was able to bring this up so candidly on Drag Race, I think is special. It's showing that we as a society are growing. I think it's a slay of a look. This is gorgeous. I love how avant-garde it is, and I think it's a cool tribute to her mom without being literal. It's such a similar story to her choosing peyote as her flower for the girl group, where she said, this is something that's important to me, and so I'm going to talk about it. And Matraca is someone who always I can trust to be in her own lane and follow through on what she has in her vision, not necessarily going for the literal. Then in my number one spot is Elektra Vandergeld, who I am deeply offended that she was not top 2. First off, she has perfect scores across my board. This is my very first queen ever in my history of ranking the queens and giving them my own personal scores, of getting 10s, 10s, 10s across the board. She was my number one spot in every category of look, in performance, in lines, and in runway. She looked captivating in the girl group. Her moves were killer. I was super impressed by her. And then on the runway, yo, holy shit. This is jaw-dropping, like next level jaw-dropping. This midnight green sparkling up to high heaven. This is drag. This is perfection. This hat and headpiece combo made completely out of hair is so cool. Every detail is perfection, even down to those little bows on the shoes. Like, how dare she? How dare she? I am such a fan. I love this look. The tops and bottoms are called for the week, and I want to say I appreciate that Lolita and Tyga try really hard to make this competition seem fair. One of the biggest complaints from Latina Royale is that it was very clear that the Filipinas were being preferred, that the international queens were always not getting flowers, except for week 1. There's complaints every single Versus the World that the home country are getting preferred. And I think that this season is no different, except Lolita and Tyga are absolutely trying their best to get an international queen up in the top 2 or top 3. It's like they're trying really hard to seem unbiased with their top picks while simultaneously hating Mariana Stars every day, hour, minute, second, and millisecond, refusing to put Ava Blunt in the bottom last week and refusing to put Regina in the bottom this week. I appreciate that they're trying to make the competition seem fair, but it's giving those people who are like, I'm saving myself for marriage and I'm trying to remain pure for God, which is why I only let him stick it up my butt so that I'll still have my purity on my wedding night. Like, I see you trying to lie to me. I see it, but I still see what you're doing. This panel hates to see Mariana Stars coming because she was in the bottom again, but I do believe that this was her most valid bottom placement. And Greg's nipple was sticking out the entire critique. No one on production was a friend. No one on that team was like, hey Greg, can you just lift up your top a little bit? We're seeing gumdrops. What do y'all think about the way this episode was judged? I've said time and time again that I think that if you're in a group where your success is reliant on your teammates getting you to the top or bottom, you should all be judged together. Alexis Mateo is my bias in this group, and of course I want her to win the whole thing because I love her to the moon and back. On the moon! But I think it's odd that she got ripped out of her group to be the top placer when so many others were in the bottom. It was so clear that there was a high placing group and that they were the ones who deserved the top 3 placements, and there was a bottom placing group and 3 should have been pulled from there. And I think that this would have been a completely appropriate situation to have Team Mexico be in the top 3, because realistically Elektra did better than anybody else in that room and should have been in the top. But again, I appreciate that they're trying to make the top placements look like it's fair, like it's not rigged or biased for the home country. And Alexis and Matraka are the top 2 and have to determine if they're going to eliminate Desiree Beck or Mariana Stars. In Untucked, Mariana vocalizes that no matter what she does, it's not enough. The judges don't seem to connect with her. They don't seem to like her at all. And it seems like no matter how well she performs, they're just not gonna click with her. And we've seen iterations of this happening on the show many times where the queens realize it is not for me here and I don't know what more I can do about it. So I do feel bad for her. And the lip sync song is Pobre Secretaria, which I heard in a DJ set from one of my favorite DJs almost a year ago. Maybe it was about 8 months ago, and I loved the song, so I was very happy to hear something that I actually knew in this playlist. I was vibing, I was having a good time, but unfortunately Alexis didn't know a lot of the words. I think she did what I always want to see though from someone who doesn't quite know the lyrics perfectly. Sell it like you do. Some of the queens in Drag Race Thailand season 3 do this well. When they get a song in English and they don't know the words, especially the RuPaul ones, they fake it till they make it. Even if they don't know the lyrics 100%, their performance is solid enough that you can forgive it. Matraka was very fun to watch, and I think that she objectively killed it, but I'm so biased towards Alexis. I can't be unbiased when it comes to her in a performance. So I mean, I wanted her to win just to see what she would have done and to diversify who has badges right now, because now Team Mexico has all 3 badges that exists so far in the competition. And I do fear that it will stay in their hands going forward. Matraka is called as the winner and she decides to eliminate Desiree Beck, which I think was the most valid decision. I think that Desiree could have been eliminated last week. And after that fall, she seemed so deflated, like she just didn't want to be there anymore. I would feel the same way. I'd be like, let me go home. Please get me out of here. But I was confused by Matraka's reasoning because she said that she made her decision based on judges' critiques and overall performance, which is bullshit. Because Mariana's been in the bottom every week. Either Matraka feels the way that I do, that Mariana's bottom placements were not valid in the prior weeks, or she lied and didn't think about her words quickly enough to justify her reasoning. When you're gonna lie about something like that, you have to premeditate it just a little bit and have a story. A good lie should be like a little black dress. Short, simple, unforgettable. And this logic was a little convoluted for what the reality is. Convoluted! And last week in the comments, someone said that Mariana's relying on her friendships too much. Baby, that's All-Stars. There were girls in All-Stars 2, 3, and 4 that got through the competition solely because of their friendships. Why y'all acting brand new? I appreciated Greg standing up for Desiree and holding the I disagree card, hoping that maybe Lolita and Tyga would also agree with her, but it was a bit of a misguided move, I fear, because I think they're only gonna lift their cards for Matraka or Regina. Maybe Elektra. What did y'all think about this episode? What did y'all think about the elimination, as well as the girl group? Who had your favorite look on the runway? Let me know all those in the comments below. Keep an eye out for my Down Under vs. the World review that will also be coming up very soon. I will see y'all on the flip.